Sold for 1.2 billion.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
They,
Rolling?
they,
Okay, lady and gentleman in gun truck.
Right.
nicely, I mean, from the that, you know, it's
I got a couple of emails that I think they think this is who I am.
Okay.
I've got a big spike on my, I assume from you,
Uh-oh. Your Twitter, on your page.
both.
Hurts.
I've got a reputation management company if you need help.
My reputation's too clean as it is. I gotta dirty it up, I gotta soil it a little.
A basket and I'll get some raisins.
will you pass me, Marcus, will you pass me that basket?
Is that a question, a hand, or just a gesture? Okay. Any questions
Thank you.
on anything we've covered so far? Okay, what was the gauntlet? Okay, we didn't answer that question. Remember the slide where it says what's keeping you from your goals, your family, relatives, fear. Can't remember the other one. Okay, Mark?
My biggest one. I'd say probably guilt.
Oh, that's guilt.
Yeah.
The one I forgot, because I don't have any, except for my mom. Where's my mom?
There.
Okay, Mom, except for you. Except for my mom, and her ashes here. Guilt, and how does that manifest itself?
I think more when my kids came along, you either feel guilty being with the kids and not at work, and when you're at work, you're not with the kids. And that's what I struggle with.
That's a good point. Good point.
I really struggle with
And that'll be the struggle for many, not just this group, but many people that have families. Whether that's a sick mother, sick dad, brother, you name it, it all falls into the same sphere more or less, because we're guilty because we're not doing something that we've been trained to think that we should be doing. Now, I'm guilty when I don't go to the gym. Like during this week, I'm fucking around with you. I felt bad. When you told me that you were getting up at 5:30, I felt bad. Wanted to slap him one, because I can't burn it, but now when I was 40 or 50 or 60, even 60, maybe 55, I could burn it at both ends. But now, if I'm gonna be all I can be for you guys, I can't get up at 4 or 5. And I wake up at 4:15. I wonder what the morons are gonna do today in the seminar, you know? But then I force myself to go back to sleep, or Sally will say, Dan, you don't have to be up for 2 more hours. And I'll say, I wonder, and then I fall asleep. And then when I'm there at night talking to you guys, I don't have time to go to the gym. And so because I want to get at least 6 hours sleep, I don't stay up for the movies with you guys. Because you saw 2 movies. You saw Fear, and what was the other one?
Greed.
Greed. Ooh, I like that one. Greed. I could make a movie on that. But you've been trained. And so I miss the gym. I miss when things that people normally don't miss, like when we go on a cruise. We just came back from a 5-week cruise through the Iberian Mediterranean. I was working 5, 6, 7 hours. It so happened one day it pissed rain. Just fucking lashed the fucking rain, boats going bam, 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 bam. And so I worked 9, 10 hours that day. Because Sally wasn't dragging me, you know, to go do something. And the main reason when we go on these things, we have private tours, because private tours are shorter. Instead of a long tour with a bunch of fucks, a bunch of British lard-ass fucks, or Spanish fucks or whoever, you know, we can take a 7-hour tour and make it 3 hours, you know. And Sally and I don't shop, we don't buy gifts, we don't buy antiques, we don't buy art, we don't buy fuck all. And so we can and get through the city and get back to the boat and Google fuck and answer emails. But guilt is normally one. Okay, Tony.
I think mostly fear and society, and I guess which is the fear of being embarrassed.
That's a big Asian deal. Losing face, being embarrassed. And we're talking about the PowerPoint that showed, here's you, your goals are over there, and you're gonna get through, what is it, family, guilt, fear, et cetera, et cetera. And in the Asian community, losing face, not just the Asian community, the Arabic community as well, they don't like to lose face. But nobody likes being embarrassed, and one of the first things I said, the difference between myself and many of the high-performance people and you is we don't mind engaging in self-deprecation. We poke fun at ourselves. When I make a mistake, it's like when I crawled in with my head in my hand on my knees to see the former head of the Kuwaiti investment office. You know, I fucked up. I didn't really fuck up, but somebody in my team fucked up. That means I fucked up. And so I was willing to pay the price through the embarrassment. Brian.
Well, I kind of ran the gauntlet on society friends and everybody else when I started the show because everyone thought I was out of my fucking mind.
I still think you're out of your fucking mind.
I think so too.
Okay.
And like all my old city colleagues, like they know that they still think I'm fucking nuts. And so I think it's got to be fear. I don't know what kind. I guess it's just, again, maybe my engineer is just minimize risk at all times. So I think that's it. Not taking the big bet.
The big bet. Minimize fear. And that's built in, you know, that's built in. And plus, it's not only genetically built in, it's built in by how we were raised, and, you know, by our parents. And that's how their parents, and their parents, and their parents. You know, the mother says, oh, don't run over there, the saber-toothed tiger's gonna get you, or this or that. And you know, it's quite obvious. Fidel.
To me, it's fear of violent confrontation.
You mean physical?
Yeah, well, physical is a realm of it, but also verbal, like being confronting that violent confrontation. No, I can't. Yeah, that's my biggest fear.
Okay, well, again, I'm at this end of the management leadership continuum. Everybody else in the world, not everybody, but almost everybody else is at that end. Okay. Churchill believed in confrontation. Okay? Some people say Mrs. Thatcher did. I didn't find her so confrontational, but compared to what's around, she's confrontational. But other people that have run Great Britain, since we're in Britain, they are less confrontational, and that's where being a politician came in. The whole genre of being a political hack became more than obvious. But you don't have to be confrontational. But my experience has been the people that are the least confrontational have to be smarter. They have to be, with the greatest respect, more manipulative. Henry Kissinger is a great man, Dr. Kissinger. I've never met him. Klaus Kleinfeld's a good friend of him. You gotta be slick. You gotta be able to maneuver. You gotta be like Teflon. President Reagan, I think, was a great president. Not everybody agrees with him, but they used to call him Teflon Ron. Because, and when he did get hit, it was like Teflon, just slide off. Because he was a likable guy. He was not a confrontational president. Harry Truman, one of my influencers, was up there in the right-hand corner. He was confrontational. The buck fucking stops here. You don't like it, get out. It's my way or the highway. Okay, so there's different things. Brian, how about you?
Two of them, both society, overcoming the status quo, taking the lead. Success, it's not really accepted on certain levels. The other one is fear of success and fear of financial loss.
Okay, that's really important. A lot of you guys came here because you want to be more successful, create wealth. Okay? The question is, are you willing to pay the price to get that? But one of the caveats is that subconsciously, or on a sub-rosa level, you're afraid of success. For those of you that have experienced success, was it by accident? Have you done it again? Are you a one-trick pony or a one-trick fuck? You know? Can you only do it one time? And it's very seldom that somebody brings it out like Brian did, but it is. And if it's not on the surface, it's certainly subconscious. And it often transcends the fear of financial loss. Because you can always make more money. Now, you may not believe that. but you can always make more money. My fear, and the gauntlet that we talked about, is time. But my fear has always been time when I was 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Has always been time, because I knew somehow, somewhere, I don't know why, and I think it goes back to my military training, time costs lives, Dan. You know? And those guys, those assholes at infantry school, drove it into my fucking head. But my dad also, because of his background, fought in 2 wars, CIA, etc. Time can cost lives. Make a decision. They don't want you to make a wrong decision, but often it's better to make a wrong decision quickly than a decision that takes too long and you spend a lot of lives. Miles?
Family and fear of time and some sort of society, going into something not knowing. So
The
what are the
unknown.
risks involved? Yeah. Like with the movie on fear, you put your hand in a box, you don't know what's in it.
I've done that exercise. And in fact, most of those things I've done. And that's why I picked the little clips on them. Rob?
I would say fear of tanking my business, growing out of control.
Tanking?
Yeah, going down.
Going down the toilet.
Yeah, of growing the business out of control with leverage, and that getting to the point that leads to a bankruptcy.
Well, you got to make a lot of mistakes before you get to that point.
I realize that.
Yeah, and so, when we get to that part of the exercise, there's, I have these red flag checklists. I mean, when those red flags start popping up, you slow down. Okay, not but one. All it takes is one, and then you slow down and you take a look at it and ask your dream team. And I believe very much in using your dream team as a crutch, if you will, to help you until you know that you're walking on. It's never going to be firm ground. That's not going to happen. It's never going to. What about you, Marcus?
Wrong cause means wrong business, and close relatives.
Close relative. Yeah.
And
I could
you
talk.
know that. You know that.
Well,
already.
I know it. I want you to say it. I know it. Yeah. Relatives can be a real pain, a real albatross, and how you deal with that. And there's nothing I can do to change that. I can't change that. And I'm not saying for you to be ruthless and to be unkind and fuck up like I did and yell at my mother, just a few hours before she died. That's why she sits over there with her ashes to watch me. So I know from personal experience, But by the same token, my mom believed while she was alive until just before she died, I was gone 30 fucking years. And nobody was prouder or happier than her for her son. Nobody. And when she moved here, God knows I didn't move here to have her die. But when she moved here, she used to look around the place. It's not a bad place. She couldn't be prouder. So I don't know if she equated those 30 years of me being gone. I'm hoping she did, but you don't know. You don't know. Doc?
Fair financial loss. Fair that I'm not savvy enough. And then because I would like to try to do something that is a little bit different in my profession, fear of society kind of rejecting me for making some bold changes.
Okay. How many times have we heard the word fear?
All the time.
And if in your paperwork you filled out, fear when it came out, not everybody even used the word. Not in, maybe 10% of you used the word. And virtually 100% of you have used the word in describing it. What does that tell you, Doc? 10% wrote about it, and after you've been here a day and a half, and you've seen the fear clip, etc., but now you readily know it's fear. We're calling a spade a shovel. We're calling black is black.
We're not confident. We're not confident.
We're not confident. As Fidel said, he's at an age where he's trying to ascertain who he is, what he wants to do, more or less. Okay, and which is not unusual. You're 35, right?
Yep.
Okay, 35. Normally it comes a little later, about 40. I was 31 when I was tears running down my cheeks, drinking Jack Daniels, and my Great Danes licking the tears off my cheeks. What the fuck? I'm 31 and I'm not anywhere near close to being 10% into my goals. I got to do something about this. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I was going to take some fucking action. Okay? Now, some of you would be still spreadsheeting it, Googling it, whatever. And I just took action. Okay, at that point, thank you, YouTubers.